Well, hello everybody, I'm JayLeonardJ. I have the original Revstar Pro. I got the new Revstar Pro. Let's go look at the differences and see which one comes out on top. Well, huge day on the page. We're talking about Revstars, which is something I really like to do. I've been a long time Revstar user. I remember like when I first started this page, it was like one of the first guitars I ever did a video for, and I did it for friends down at Rufus Guitar Shop. They asked me to do the guitar, and I made a video, and I was like, you know what? This guitar is awesome. This is a really awesome guitar. I have to find a way to make it mine. And I will say I did get that specific guitar I made for the video. That's it. And I'm pretty sure it might be among the first batch of Japanese Revstars to ever make it to Canada. So I am a very, very early adopter. And it's just been really nice to see how popular Revstar has gotten over the years. And now that we have the new models out, I think they're really in demand now. I know a lot of people have been having trouble finding them in stock, especially the Japanese Pro models. So it's really, really cool to have the new ones here and, see how these two compare with each other. So looking at the two, I will say these are both the top of the line Revstars that you can get. So this is the professional series. They're made in Japan. They have this like IRA treatment, which means they kind of vibrate it to make all the pieces kind of glue and work well together. I know a lot of companies do that with acoustic guitars. They do it with their electric guitars in this case. And it also has the Japanese craftsmanship and the workmanship, the cloud, all the good stuff. This is like the Revstar to get, you know what I'm trying to say. So let's dig into the sounds. Let's dig into what they are and talk about the differences. All right. So we have this one. This is the original Revstar Pro. Now, one thing you'll notice really, really quickly in comparison with the other one, this has like this really aggressive kind of look, and that's actually what I'll say about this guitar. It is an aggressive guitar. I guess they really went with this motorcycle kind of vibe with the matte finish, and then it has like these clear racing stripe things here, the brushed hardware. They even distressed the pickups on it, and they put the copper pickguard, which ages really, really quickly, so it has a nice little patina. In terms of the sound, again, I'm hearing a lot of aggression. It's not I wouldn't say it's a clear guitar. It kind of reminds me of a 1950s Les Paul, and that's kind of what I was attracted to about it. If you think of those old Les Pauls with like those 300K pots, really, really like beautiful. This is what it sounds like. So a little bit on like the thicker side of things, a little bit, I guess it feels like it has a slower attack. Nice silky smooth sound. And to go with that aggressive feel too, it has a pretty substantial neck. I wouldn't say it's like as thick as like a 50s Les Paul neck. It's a little bit more streamlined than that, but you definitely feel a little bit of meat in that bone. Oh, it's really, really fun guitar. Now, the thing about this guitar is it is, to go with that kind of like rough and tumble thing, they have like the wraparound bridge, which kind of has a Les Paul Jr. kind of vibe. Again, that kind of like bare bones rock star kind of thing. The bridge for me is I have mixed feelings about it, because I think these bridges look nicer than the Tune-O-Matic. I think they look cooler. They look like more like rock and roll, but the Tone Pro's bridge can get a little bit annoying And because they're a little bit finicky to adjust, you need a special tool to change the action. And also, there's there's the channel here that brings the string down here and then over, and there's a little hole here. There's actually 2 little openings here. So if you're not careful when you string out the strings, it actually comes out of the bottom as opposed to coming out of the hole. It becomes a little bit of a nightmare. You have to be very precise when you put in those strings. So as much as I like the added, I guess, feeling of connection, that feeling of togetherness when I have that wraparound bridge, and I like the look of it, I think it's cleaner and just prettier. I find that I might like the practicality of the new Tune-O-Matic style that they decided to go with the original. So that is this one in a nutshell. We'll go back to it as we talk about some of the extra features of this guitar. But now let's go look at the new model. So this is, again, it still has like that motorcycle kind of feel to it, but it's just overall, I guess, more luxurious kind of looking. You know what I mean? Like with this guitar, I feel like I always have to wear a leather jacket, you know, or like a jean jacket. I always have to look like a rock star when I'm playing this guitar. Like I'm always have to be in rock star mode. So if I have to wear like a tuxedo or something, I'll feel a little bit out of place. Whereas with the new model and the kind of design aesthetic they went with, the no matte and the shiny hardware, I feel like I could wear a tuxedo with this thing and kind of fit in, and then like I could wear the leather jacket and still look like a rock star as well. They do have models with the stripes, you know, the pinstripe, or not pinstripes, the racing stripes. But even those ones, if you just look at the aesthetic of them, they still look like, again, like it's not really like mean, like biker. It's like just kind of has this classy retro kind of thing. You can still wear a suit with it. So that's my feeling. And this guitar has a cavity body. So that's the big difference. This is not solid. So this one over here has the maple top and the mahogany back. This has maple top, and the mahogany in the back is actually chambered, and then they use the computer to kind of open it up. The big question I get from people is the weight difference, and actually there's not a big weight difference at all. This one came in at about 8.4 pounds, and then this one here is 8.2 pounds. So I guess they're using heavier mahogany or something in here. They have carbon fiber in the body to give it some stability, as well as carbon fiber in the neck. They both have 3-piece necks, but this one has a couple strips of carbon fiber. And I guess with the combination of that chambering or whatever they're doing, this immediately, I don't know if it's the pickups or the wiring, this is just a clear sounding guitar. And that was the first thing that came to mind when I played it. A little bit more trebles poking through and a little bit more clarity. You could really hear that extra clarity with the bridge pickup. It is really, really brash. Whereas the old one kind of had the feel of like a 50s Les Paul, and like this nice, more, I guess, smoother kind of overall aesthetic. This one seems more modern. It sounds like a modern guitar, a little bit more articulation, a little bit more clarity, and just it just the notes pop out as opposed to kind of groove in. Now, when it comes to the frets, these are stainless steel frets. They did do an upgrade over there, and maybe that's adding to that little extra amount of zing I'm feeling. I'm not sure. And the big thing you'll notice immediately, the body size is a little bit wider here. So it is a little bit wider, especially around the top. You can feel it. It doesn't look that noticeable here. If you look over here, it doesn't look that noticeable, but when you actually have it on the body, you can actually feel that width. And it's a weird feeling because it has a wider body, but a skinnier neck. And this is a very, very like fast feeling. Maybe it is the thickness of that neck on the old one that makes me feel like it's more like thick and meaty, whereas this one has a thinner neck, and maybe that feeling of speed is making me play it or attack it in a more percussive way. Now the string spacing is the same, but the nut width is more narrow here, and it is more narrow up here. It's very, very, very quick, and it also has satin on the back, so it just feels quicker, where this has like the more sticky lacquer kind of feel. So again, this is just a very, very, I guess modern would be the word I'm using. They did change the fret markers here. They do obviously have that bridge, which we talked about earlier, and they actually have like a nice metal cover over here, which is kind of a nice touch. The other one was plastic, and it just kind of has a really nice look. I think these look really beautiful, especially this color here where it kind of fades from a light to a dark. I think that's really cool. I've never seen a burst like that, and if any of you have seen a burst like that before, like, let me know, because I want to see guitars that look like this. I first saw this thing when they showed me the concept art. I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But then, like, the more you look at it, because it's different, right? You don't like things that are new. But the more I look at it, I'm like, you know, this is pretty cool. I really like this, to the point where it's like, for me, I gotta get like this burst. You know, if you're gonna get a new Revstar, get this burst, because it's just so, you know, so unique and so cool, and it just is so Revstar now. Revstar 2000, whereas like the old ones had like the racing stripes, and the new ones, some of the new ones do too. I feel like the new step is this nice burst, and I think that's really cool. There are two models with the Pro now. There is a humbucker and a P90 version, which has a different bridge. With the older model, there was only humbuckers. You had this color, as well as a black one. So you do have more options. So I'm excited to have a Japanese P90 version. I think that is really fantastic. And there are like other small things that are upgrades as well. It has some nicer, what do you call it? These are the strap pins. And they did go for the plastic little, with the little tuner caps. And to be honest, I kind of like the old metal ones. Maybe it just feels more solid, but I understand why they went with this. But I don't know, my eye kind of likes the metal one. Now let's head-to-head them. I'm going to play a little bit on this neck pickup, and I'll go in here, and then you can really hear that difference. And there's this one over here. So you can hear again, this has a little bit more like richness. You can really hear it, especially in the top strings. Let's go back to that one over here. See, it's just more rounded off. Let's go to the bridge. There's a big difference here. And here's the other one. So again, just more clarity, more feel. So when I start adding gain, you could really hear the separation in the note. Let's hear this one over here. So yeah, there's a very noticeable difference, and I guess that comes down to what your tastes are. Do you like it a little bit more, chewy, a little on, maybe a little bit on the beefy side, or do you like the clarity side? It's really up to you. Now I could try to roll down the tone knob, and that does a little bit of it. But no matter what, I don't know, you're always going to get that inherent clarity, which is, again, the thing that really stuck out to me with this. Let's roll down the tone knob. You can kind of get there, but again, this is really a nice precision instrument if you're a percussive player, or maybe someone that's doing complex chords, modern sounds. I think this is really a really great choice. So now let's go look at some of the extra that this thing has going for it. So with this model, you get 2 extra sounds on the switch. This one only has 3, and these are kind of like out of phasey sounds. So this is the neck. Let's go to the first out of phase sound. Too bad, eh? Let's go to the other one. This is the other in-between position. Man, those necks really do feel different. It's also a radius thing. This has a 12-inch radius. That one's a little bit above 13 inches, so it's a little bit more curved here. And that with the shallowness, man, it's a really different instrument. This feels like if you have a really good touch, and if you have like a really good technique, this is just not gonna hold you back. This just kind of goes off to whatever direction you want, where this one always keeps you grounded. You know what I mean? Now we have the little flip switch here. We got that little push-pull pot. They both have them, but they both do different things. So what we have on this one is it actually initiates like this little transformer thing that's going on inside, which gives us a little bit of a boost, and it really feels like the low end kind of gets chunkier. You roll off the highs. It just kind of changes the resonant frequency in a little bit of a way. It's a passive thing, so there's no battery, but you can really hear it just has more of a, I guess it brings a little bit of a raunchiness to it. What am I playing? So let's go hear what happens when I push the knob on the other original model here. Now, the new Revstar Element, which is their baseline model, they actually maintained this function. So the lower end Revstar has this thing called a dry switch, and this is what it has as well. And what the dry switch does is it just does the opposite, actually. Where this one, it feels like it just kind of adds thickness and rolls off highs. What this does is it cleans up the low end and makes it seem a little bit more clear. So let's hear what this sounds like. It's a much more subtle effect, actually. When you hear that one, I push it and I get that low end boost. It's very apparent. It's like, whoa, we get some fatness here. With this one, it's just a nice gentle roll off that just helps get rid of some of the muck. Oh my gosh, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I'm having a good day. Let's hear this one over here. Oh man, I could go all day. I can go all day. So these are my thoughts. Okay, now that I've really gone on an adventure today with these, the body here is better. This is a better feeling body because I guess the extra width here and just the weight of how everything it is. The other one, I find when I sit down, it feels like it's gonna fall off the knee, where this one feels much more there. You know what I mean? So this feels more, I don't know, I think it's nice, and it kind of, I don't know why, but it reminds me of a Rickenbacker in a way, you know what I mean? Now, the necks, this is a really fast neck with that matte finish, and it has this nice, really fast thing here. It's really articulate, very modern. For me, I might like the older neck. I like the beefier neck. I feel like it keeps me, my thing is, I just like how I talk or how my life is, I'm just like, go, 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 go. And like, I could just run on and on forever. And I sometimes need someone to kind of tow me back to reality before I just let things get away from me. So I think the bigger neck on here, on the original, I kind of like a little bit better. The look, I think these look prettier. I think especially with the fade here, and even with the new models with the racing stripes, I think it looks better. The small features here, I think the overall general aesthetic is much better. The sound, now that is, I think, the toughest one for me, because there are times where I do want that grunty old school Les Paul sound, and I think that does it really well, and that's why I got this guitar, where this one is really, really, yeah, it is modern. It is modern, and it feels and plays modern. And what's really nice, and I think why they went with this, is it is now its own thing, where this thing kind of seemed like a really great old school Les Paul thing. This is really its own instrument. It has like the feel and the neck wise, and then the response with the percussive playing. It feels almost like a single coil pickup and has the clarity of one. I can't get that out of there. And so that's really, really nice. And it's kind of its own sound. If you're looking to not just copy something from the past and really forge a new path, I think this is much neater way. You're going to find your voice a little faster with this sound. Yeah, that sounds nice. Now, one thing I did also forget to note, they do use a plastic nut here. This one does have the tusk nut, so they did kind of went downgraded with the nut here, but I don't think I could really tell the difference. Yeah, and so those are the two guitars. I got the original Revstar Pro. I got the new one. My question is, which one did you like? Now, I'm really excited to hear what it all sounds like when I finish the video, because obviously when you're in the moment, you're listening to the sound plus having the playing experience. And since there's such different playing experiences, that also affects how I play it, and it affects what I'm listening for when I play it. So having a non-biased listen back to it's gonna be really, really interesting to hear back. But which one stuck out to you? Which one do you like the most? These are the top of the line Yamahas. But yeah, please let me know what you think. Subscribe to me on Patreon. Check out the links in the description below. They really do help the page. And I guess that being said, I'll see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.